I am both melting and just dumbfounded by the dynamic that is Anya x Damian. I mean, ever since his introduction, I was pretty sure, like, he wasn't just some asshole kid, like, I think the initial impression wanted you to think. Very quickly, you could tell, like, you know, there's just a lot of pressure on kids who go to this school, and to no surprise, like, the boy, he has daddy issues, and really, at the end of the day, just wants to be loved by his dad, and to see Anya in this episode, most of it completely focused on their dynamic, her just trying to get him to appreciate Bond, her dog, as you casually have Becky fall in love with Lloyd as they end up making a prize-winning griffin, which looked like absolute garbage, but the story that they came up with in their head about, like, the dead child, that being what was supposed to be Bond with some extra clippings attached. This episode was just a riot, it really was, and I really enjoyed what it did for the characterization of Damian, but most importantly, just letting Anya be Anya. Like, just imagining what Lloyd thinks she does at school when he's not observing, because he has his own job to do, so yeah, sometimes he probably keeps up to date, but given what she will do around Lloyd, I have to wonder from his perspective what he imagines she does sometimes, because truthfully, the amount of Anya faces we see compared to what he sees, and this is reality for him, mind you, I mean, I just imagine no wonder he seems so stressed at times. But the end of the episode with him actually, like, just talking with Handler and just saying, like, how many ropes she can skip now, you can just tell how much of a proud father he is, even though he just is convinced that he's a spy doing his job. Like, he is without a doubt a proud father at the end of the day. And the end of the episode was really interesting because something I like that Spy Family's doing is rather than establishing, like, a spy assassin narrative and never doing anything with it, they actually subtly showcase the spy elements pretty frequently. Yes, the assassin stuff with Yor is definitely the least touched upon subject matter between the three, the childhood antics, the spy stuff, and then the assassin stuff, but given that the intro of the story was kickstarted by Anya and Lloyd, to me it makes sense, and I think there's always potential down the line to see more on your side with the assassin. But when you look at the spy stuff, just like the simple moments about how Handler gets tailed and followed, so she'll have to go somewhere, change her outfit, that's how she'll sometimes meet up with Lloyd. What happens if they're being tailed? How would they send each other messages? Well, they do it through the reflection of basically the glass across the street. Those little details go a long way and I think get underappreciated because without them, it would be easy to forget that this is a spy story or a sabotage story, something to that nature, right? Because unless that's the main focus of an episode, it would be very easy to say, well, Lloyd's not actually a spy or Yor's not actually an assassin, but they actually remind you a fair amount, which really goes a long way to help keep the divide that's supposed to be there in our mind as we clearly see the family grow closer and closer. But the start of the episode was without a doubt the kids. It really was. Becky was a sucker punch and then some. I wasn't expecting her to fall in love with Lloyd after she's going on and on about how you should go after the mature guys, these little boys over here. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just childish, and I'm a grown woman, of course. I was just shaking my head when she was talking, but then when the picture got dropped and she just, like, hard eyes galore, like, there was no coming back from that. Poor Lloyd is all I can say, because you can already tell Becky's gonna be that kid who will now try to go over to her house as much as possible just so she can get a peek at Lloyd, and probably will try to seduce him. Lloyd, recognizing she's a kid but also has no damn idea like what the hell's wrong with her, will probably just shoo her away like a fly or a mosquito. But still, great content that left me laughing. But I really think the Damian stuff was probably the best overall because I really appreciated how they subtly reminded you just how much he's trying to impress his father without going sob story. Like, the most sad moment of the episode is the phone call, in my opinion, when he's talking with, I assume, the butler of the mansion, the home that he comes from, where he's basically saying, oh, you know, did father hear about me getting basically my face broken by this little girl? Oh yes, he was very worried about your health, and then he calls him a liar in his head. Like, you can just tell, like, all he wants is the approval and love of his father. And the thing that is interesting, and the thing that I'm interested in seeing is if, you know, ultimately Anya and Damian become friends at some point. Like, I could honestly see them dating at some point as well. Just like the simple children-like dating of just maybe holding hands maximum. But you can tell, like, they are so frenemies that it's hard not to see them growing up and becoming more, in my opinion. But I'm interested to see if they do become friends first, if he'll then maybe get some fatherly love from Lloyd. Like, I could see something like that building up as well, because clearly his dad's not giving that to him, and I'm interested to see where that could go. But the simple moments like how he's giving it his all, he's trying to make this griffin, which the design was incredible. Like, prior to Anya getting her grubs on it, I mean, she was turning it into like rocket jets and honestly whatever the abomination at the end was that somehow won first prize, right? I love the fact that he really was giving it his all, and the thing that quickly impressed me was like, yes, we know this is like a prestigious school with like very talented kids, all things considered, but I was still rather impressed by what they were able to make at Arts and Crafts Day at their school. And seriously, the animals, the 3D animals they made, they all looked rather good, I have to admit. And then, of course, there was Bond, which just, at first I was like, what is that, a ghost or something? Like, what is she making over here? And of course, I had to relate to her new dog that she's so proud of. But I like how it constantly was funny. It was constantly just exhilarating with the comedy department. But it also continued to flesh out, like, where these two characters can end up going in the future, but most importantly showing that, you know, the more I have to be the best, I have to put down those that are below me, Damian. Well, no wonder if his dad doesn't even put him on a pedestal. Do you really expect the kid to treat others that much nicer? And honestly, given the type of characters who go to this school, he's actually one of the nicer ones, all things considered, right? So either way, I think this is a great watch. It's been a great show for a while, but I really am impressed by what they're able to do with the most simplistic of scenes. A kid going to preschool, you know, you could almost consider it, right? Just with the age and the mentality that some of these kids have. But the way, like, the childlike nature can pop out in like, these ways you don't expect, because they try to act like they're the adults, right? You know, they're above everyone, you're just a lower class peasant, and then Arts and Crafts comes out, and they all just melt into, ooh, I want to make a dog, I want to make a pig, right? And just to see what they're able to do was really great, but the after the credits moment with Yuri and Yor definitely caught me by surprise, especially given that I thought the cooking antics were done for now. Last week, Yor's kitchen, amazing. But to see poor Yuri as a kid, just no wonder he's like that. Like, yes, he has that, like, siscon attitude, which was his main reason for eating that junk to begin with. But just thinking of the fact that had he just been honest with her back in the day, she would have either never cooked that garbage again, or she would have naturally gotten better far quicker, and most likely prior to meeting Lloyd. But still, bless his heart, I guess he has a body made of steel now, given the fact that apparently nothing can kill the boy anymore. But I mean, at the same time, you have to wonder, was it really worth it? He would say yes. Any logical person would say, God, no. Get to the hospital and get your stomach pumped, because that is going to kill you, right? But this shit was funny. It was, like, the past couple of episodes, very simple. You wouldn't really say there's anything explosive happening, but it does such great for the characterization. Last week with Yor showing how much of a mother and wife she wants to be. This week, Anya and Damian, just that little childlike dynamic really goes a long way to flesh them out while just being funny in the process. Lloyd, at his spy meeting, saying how proud he is of his daughter despite thinking he's all about the mission, when really he loves his family so much, and Yuri and Yor that's just the icing on the cake. But of course, I'll pass the torch over to everyone else. What did you think of this hilarious Spy Family episode? Leave your thoughts down below. Also, be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. You can also consider supporting the Patreon, which you can see my full live reaction to. As well, you can also get video shoutouts. So for this video, thank you to slimshadyone. I appreciate the support. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.